have with us this evening Mrs. Claire Elshot and Mr. Raymond Jessurun. And they're both here to speak about the very interesting organization. It's the St. Martin Consumer Coalition, right? So who's going to go first? We have a unionist. We also have you, also in Union Curacao, right?
Yes, yes.
And
still a union member.
No, they say you're kicking ass in St. Martin.
Well, you know that the up for union is both in St. Martin and in Curacao. So.
Yeah. But to use a local expression, but really, who's going to go first? You, Ms. Elshot?
Well, good evening to the viewers, and I would like to say thank you for having us. As a trade unionist, you would have to look at, of course, the quality of life of your members, and you would like to also ensure that the best of the best is also coming for your members. So from that angle, you tackle the social and economical well-being of your members from different areas. And therefore tonight, it is very important that we give, shed some light after a few months that we have been busy with the anti-poverty platform and creating awareness on this issue, that we also shed some information on the Consumers Coalition that is now, has now been formed and that is now being active. I would now turn the word over to Mr. Jessurun for him to give his introduction.
All right.
For my part also, a very blessed evening to all your TV viewers and listeners. And as a representative of the St. Martin Seniors and Pensioners Association, for us, the initiative to join forces with the unions for us to address the needs of our consumers. Seniors are consumers, union members are consumers, workers in St. Martin are consumers, and their family members, all are consumers. And the situation of us as consumers here in St. Martin should be addressed. Everybody knows the complaints about the high cost of living, so how to get our prices here in St. Martin to come down. Then everybody has also the experiences that they buy things and then they get not the satisfaction that they are entitled to. So how to go about that? Well, we joined forces to address these issues and defend our members, but also the community, to provide for them the protection for their rights as a consumer, but also the education. What are your rights so that you can stand up for your right?
You know, I'm happy that there's a consumer
coalition.
I'm thinking protection all the time. When I hear coalition, I think about a political party, but it's a coalition. You explained to me before why it's a coalition. The reason I am so concerned on this island today is that just recently I had a guest in the program, and they told me that, and this is on the air, that people will purchase a cellular phone and they will see pictures on that cellular phone. Now, they're purchasing a phone that is supposed to be new, but it's a refurbished phone, and they have no clue that they purchased a refurbished phone. Now, the St. Martin Consumer Coalition, can they turn to you all with a problem like this? Or this is not what you're all going to handle?
Yes, this is one of the problems that we face in St. Martin, that a lot of products that are being offered in our market are imported, and they are being sold as being new. A lot of those products, when you get problems, you will find out that it does not any longer fall under the guarantee of the fabric. And also they will tell you it is a refurbished item. It can be a fridge that is refurbished, it can be a washing machine, it can be all kinds of consumer items that they are selling us. How can you go about this complaint? First of all, we say that we have the office in Back Street 148 from the Sunfet. That is also a part of our coalition, where from Monday to Friday, everybody who has a complaint can come and file the complaint. We have to register the complaint so that we can follow up with them, with our legal advisors, but also with all those entities that we have to address to bring a change in this situation to get customer satisfaction. This idea of addressing your satisfaction, that is something that is long overdue. For over 10 years in St. Martin, they have been speaking about consumer protection. Even government has been trying to implement or to develop a law to assist us to get consumer protection. But until the day of today, I don't know what's happening. These things cannot be materialized. So at the end of the day, we have to unite our strength, our forces, to denounce what is not right and to fight for our consumer right. And that's how, as a coalition, seniors, unions, and the non-governmental organizations in St. Martin have joined forces to provide all our members and all the community with this service, that we can channel the complaints and that we can address them. When we don't have enough information, we can fall back on the foundation in Curacao. There's a Consumers Foundation in Curacao. We have a Consumers Foundation in Bonaire that we contacted already. And we also have the Consumers Union in the Netherlands. So this is to show you that apart from that, and by affiliating our coalition to International Consumers Union, we will provide the whole backup that exists already in the world about the quality of products, about how to go about certain complaints, so that we can address them here in Little St. Martin too.
So now, you know, a lot of people work hard on this island to make a living. And when they're basically ripped off by some unscrupulous merchants, it's not easy. And then they go back and they have to fight, and still there's no justification given to them at all for their purchase.
Well, why this has continued to go on too, because in St. Martin we noticed that the consumers, they talk, they complain, but they talk, but we have now to educate them on the fact that the complaint, there is a certain procedure in doing your complaint. You can have a written complaint. For example, from previous experience, we as the Windward Island Chamber of Labor Union, in the days when we started with our sister Patricia Pantoflet, the late Patricia Pantoflet, we also, together with Brother Thompson, we established the Windward Islands Consumers Foundation. And at that time, you would see that even to visitors on the island would use that agent to launch their complaint. However, for whatever reasons beyond our control, things went dormant at that. So I am very glad now that there is an office at the Sunfed building in Back Street, and there are 2 volunteers there. We hope that we can also broaden the base of those persons that are there to take complaints, but the complaints have to be in writing. They have to be written complaints so that they can be followed up on. So that process of educating the viewers tonight and the members at large on what can be done, you don't have to necessarily be repeating the same product within a short term. What are the steps that can be taken so that you can have customers' guarantee and customer satisfaction if anything go wrong under the guarantee period? That is why each and every device, or not only device alone, services also should have a period to guarantee that the person can be satisfied.
You know, America and the American government is very clear on protection for their citizens on items that they purchase. The warranty clearly states what your protections are. Here in St. Martin and basically the Caribbean, you see companies offering on electronics warranty of 1 month, 3 months. It's crazy. But then again, the governments in the region, the Caribbean region, haven't come together to really confront these manufacturers as a region. We're small. We're not millions like America with 330 5 million people. So in the end, what we get are products from manufacturers or unscrupulous merchants who purchase refurbished items and sell it to, in this case, your members, or your
With
members,
big profits.
and they have no recourse.
Yeah. The good news is that today they wanted to address in Parliament one of the laws that has to protect consumers. It was about timeshare.
Right.
There's a lot of people that's visiting our island that is purchasing a little lot or a little timeshare apartment here in St. Martin, and that are being shafted. So the idea of protecting them is not only our idea. We are not there especially to protect the tourists, but if we want to continue to live from tourism, we have to protect them too. And so what we say is that whoever wants to make use of our services, we want to address those complaints. And where you address the issue of there are American laws and there are European laws for those manufacturers. And then in the other countries from which we import, there are laws too. But what happens is that these laws, as soon as the product is being shipped out of their territory, then there is no protection anymore. We can't go back to the guarantee, but as soon as these things come into another territory, it's another protection law that has to come into existence. Now, we are very much interested in what is it that government wants to do, as they, in April, presented online for 2 weeks a draft proposal for a consumer's protection. It was only 2 weeks online, so you cannot find it any longer online. But we would like to see that this consumer protection law will be discussed with our members so that we can see where it is that this law is really protecting us or is still leaving a lot of holes, loopholes for these merchants. We say that actually the St. Martin society should be a friendly society. And if it is a friendly society, we advertise it to be a friendly society, then also how we give service. After service should be friendly, should be customer friendly. The products that we bring, you can find them all over the world. You can order them, you can bring them, but still we must get a guarantee. And so this part of addressing a guarantee internationally is something that we can table and that we have to table by going internationally. I give an example. The International Consumer Union has addressed faulty cars that were shipped to Latin America. And all these protections based on educating the consumer, but also claiming those that are shipping and that are transporting these cars is part of what we can do
Jessurun,
together.
what you're saying that's for governments to do. You know, when you are a government, when you're part of an area, in this case it's St. Martin, not a region, but St. Martin, the government is supposed to ensure that their citizens are protected.
Yep.
If there's a recall, government should enforce that recall.
Yep.
You shouldn't need a consumer coalition, what have you, to enforce that. In fact, I don't even think you all have a teeth. You're a toothless tiger in a way in this whole thing.
Well, don't underestimate the power of the consumer. If you and if we educate and inform each other of what is faulty, nobody would go for it. If we inform each other of what we found out with our the backbone of the International Consumers Union about quality of the products, we cannot test the products. But we can do our review, we can do our research so that we can get the reviews of what has already been published on the different products and the items that is being provided here. We are being sold as a service industry. Tourism is a service industry. So there are standards to uphold. not only for the tourists that come, but also for the workers and their families. The life that our workers have to live. And if we are being set aside because we are of age, is a life which is not up to par with how do you provide correct service and how do you participate in a service industry.
Let me go back to Mr. Jessurun, what we're talking about in terms of, say, electronics. Because a lot of people purchase electronics on this island, flat screen TVs, you name it. But there's a problem inherent in this market also, where our people don't want to pay for quality either. They're looking for a flat screen TV for X amount of guilders or dollars. And when you purchase a flat screen TV and you get one for $180, $200+, don't expect the same kind of product from a TV that is $700, $800. Now, that's not necessarily true, okay? But if you look at the manufacturers, you look at what's listed, most of the times on this island, the reason why the merchants get away is because most of our people are looking for a product that is inferior because they don't want to spend top dollars, and they get away with it.
But the thing about it is that the people should be also aware of the brands, the names of certain certified brands, because even with the how we would call those, the phones nowadays, you can have a cheaper quality and it doesn't have the name of the one that would be the one of the quality. The same thing when we were growing up, you knew that certain name brands, which I would refrain from calling, those were top of the lines, and you would buy them in refrigerator, washing machine, TV, etc. Nothing hasn't changed, probably the merge, etc. But when you see as a consumer, when you see certain new name brands coming off the market and with a cheaper competitive price, you should also do your research as to certain things, because I can tell you there were name brands in refrigerators, for example, that would last you a cool 10 to 15 years before they even ask for gas refill. You know, that type of refill, free on gas refill. And today, it's like every 2-3 years, people have to purchase, because apart from the outside of a refrigerator starting to, take, it gets all rusty, you also find that certain things are faulty with them. But the fact is that, again, as Mr. Jessurun indicated, we have then the backbone of international organizations that knows the standards, because even though you would have people that would want, they would want a cheaper brand based on their income, you have people that would want quality products and they would want to spend top dollars for the quality products. So the discussion on that level, you can always get, as a consumer, the information then, and you know readily to where you can go and get information on certain things.
The thing is that you have a market on this island. I don't know where most of the complaints are coming from. You all have been open for how long now? How many months?
For the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We were promoting the opening of the office, where we had the volunteers that is registering. But it is already for 2 years that the initiative was launched, and that we started to explore how to go about
but
this.
what are the kind of complaints that you all are receiving?
What we have seen is that, for instance, complaints like the Gibbes relief. When we addressed this issue, we thought that is something for the ombudsman. Government has provided for the community, for everybody, an institution to protect the citizen if government is not doing something right, or if government officials is not doing something right. When our seniors, when they got a relief, was complaining, and we went to the ombudsman, we were told that Gibbes is not a government entity.
Because it's a corporation.
It's a corporation. And for the corporation, we have to go to the judge. Now, this idea of having to go to a judge for you to get your right, it costs you money.
It's a corporation that's owned by you, the citizen, by the way.
And it is, by the way, our own. But the idea of privatizing companies and then having them privatized, they not fall any longer on the influence sphere of the ombudsman, that brought for us the extra incentive to form the coalition, because the problems that we face is, for instance, with Gibbes, it was not only the seniors. The workers was faced with this problem too, because everybody has a fuel clause in his bill. And so how to get the price down should be where the price of oil was coming down, by getting down the fuel price. Now, this whole issue, no ombudsman to defend us, brought us to this realization that we ourselves have to unite and start to fight. So this is where, for instance, you can explain how we get more information, we have to get more information, and we have to organize ourselves to defend our rights, because who was doing it for it? If you look at the lawyers that we have in the island, all are willing if you pay, and you have to pay up front. And it is not no cure, no pay. We want no cure, no pay. You have to get this system that we can get our defense, and that if you win, then you will be paid, because for getting our satisfaction, the claim on the one that did not satisfy our satisfaction must come there.
Wait a minute, explain me here what you're saying. You're saying that you like to have a lawyer work for you all and pay him or her after the case?
A lawyer can take on a case with the no cure, no pay. They have it in the States, so they can do it here too. No, they want upfront money, and then they keep you months waiting. We know that there are certain standards that also lawyers have to maintain. Now, in St. Martin, as Consumers Coalition, we have to start to address these issues so that we can get them also to maintain the standards, but also that we can get more satisfaction. Because we see that people, they get money from government to do a court case, and this money is being used, I think, because they think it's not enough.
But
and they just go for us to lose.
700 guilders. I spoke with a few lawyers, and it's really ridiculous. They can't.
It is just as ridiculous as the income that we have to make as a worker or as a senior. So professionals want to make money, no problem. Seniors, workers also want to make money. But if we all, with that little money, have to get our right, who is there to defend the poor? Who is there to defend the needy? So there must be. That's why we said we start to protect ourselves. And thank God for the legal advisors that we got until now, that provided us with, charging us with the support for us to get this thing started.
You know, I'm familiar with the case. I'm not going to say where. This person had to go to court, right? They took a huge company to court. And it was agreed by the lawyers that if they are awarded X amount of dollars, the lawyers will receive 35% of that money. And this individual was awarded over $1 million. So lawyers got a very good payday. You don't have that in St. Martin. You know, it's not like that on this island. The Dutch system is completely different. So in that sense, you can't get lawyers who are going to work for you and say, well, you know, based on what you're awarded, we'll receive 35% of your $1 million or $2 million guilders. You're not going to get that here. So you're not going to get lawyers wanting to work for you in that sense like that.
The thing is that you can get sued. And what is the amount that should be established? That is something that you discuss in court. But the whole system of how you get your support, In Curacao, there is a foundation with the university that is providing the poor and the needy the possibility for them to get assistance to go court without having to pay a dime.
And that's not a government.
It's not governmental, it's a private institution where students from the university, but also some of the younger lawyers give their support. So the idea is, as happened, for instance, for the seniors that started the court case to get an equal pension in the kingdom. There was a lawyer office in Curacao where the lawyers there decided to give their support without charging. These things are possible.
I see that you're not happy with the lawyers here.
No, I say that they also can show a human face. It's not only business, business, business. When the poor is in a need, then how are you going to support them? And we have to get this conscience here, that what you don't want them to do to you, don't do that to the other too. Give us that support, provide us with that support, and defend our rights.
Do you know, Mr. Jessurun and Mrs. Elshot, it's becoming more and more difficult for poor people to go to court. It's extremely expensive. It's not something that people want to really consider anymore. So a lot of the poor people are literally afraid. When someone says to them, "Look, I'm going to take you to court," they're scared.
Definitely.
We are very happy with the small claims court that will come. The initiative was taken. Some have said, no, we have to get a small claims court. Now the initiative to get here at the university, that we get our own law faculty, that is a good step forward, that we get more people to assist and to help us. But that is when you look at the services and the legal services. The most important headache is not the legal service. From the moment that we buy a service or a product, we should get quality. And this is the whole issue in St. Martin. Who wants to bring quality? We have a chamber of commerce that is sleeping.
What do you mean sleeping?
Sleeping, because they have all these members here and they are not providing them with this ethics, with this morale, to provide the whole community with quality of service and quality of products.
So now you got to challenge them.
Well, the thing is, we want to sit with them because in the past, there was an initiative of the same Chamber of Commerce together with the unions that they said to bring down the cost of doing business in St. Martin, we have to bring down the cost of living. And they came with an initiative to come with a supermarket for over 400 items that could have brought down the prices in St. Martin.
Is that when Mr. Glencardy was there?
Yes.
What happened to that project?
You should ask them. This is now what we see. The Chamber of Commerce is not protecting the consumers in St. Martin. It's not there for the workers in St. Martin.
But they're not for the consumer. The Chamber of Commerce business. They're for the business.
They are also not there for the business. They are there for government to regulate, to register, and to do all the administration and advice that is needed. They are not there as an association of business people. This is the mistake that we make in St. Martin.
Because we have it in the context of the United States, which is not. It's completely different how our Chamber of Commerce is set up.
But we know, for instance, in Curacao, we have an association of business companies, and we have a Chamber of Commerce. These two entities are different entities. The VBC, the Vereniging Bedrijfsleven Curaçao, which is the association of business owners, they are just like unions, a union of business owners.
But that's why when people hear Chamber of Commerce, they think that it's like that. And it's not like that because the Dutch system is completely different. Exactly. It's more, the Chamber of Commerce is a more advisory body to the government.
Exactly. Advisory body and a regulating body executing the law. But then still, they can give a nice advice. How can we get quality products in St. Martin? How can we get a cost of living in St. Martin that is the same as in Curacao? In Curacao, it's half.
But Mr. Jessurun, the Chamber of Commerce just recently came out and attacked GBE with all those outages and was looking for settlement claims for their members.
I think that was a mistake.
Really?
Yes, because this is out of their competency. You should know the law, that you know how the chamber has to operate. I think they went a little too far.
It's a lawyer that's running the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, but they all can make a mistake. understand this. Why do you do it only with GB? And all the other problems and all the other companies that is not providing people satisfaction. The timeshare owners, even the beginning of this year, they were complaining about how certain of those companies were treating them. Why didn't you come out then?
Because the chamber, I'll tell you why. Because the Chamber of Commerce is playing politics.
Okay, so let's put it this way.
That is the distinction. I would like to, shed some light that when we go to the forum, the International Labour Conference, that you have to go with a tripartite delegation. And basically, it is the employers, the employees, organization, the employers' organization, and government that has to travel as a tripartite body. Here in St. Martin, once we went to Geneva the first time in 2011, after 10-10-10, St. Martin got that opportunity, we realized, and the chamber was represented in that delegation, and the representative from the chamber knows that it is an employers' organization that has to be developed on St. Martin. So that chamber, as Mr. Jessurun already indicated, chamber is a different angle of doing business and advising businesses that want to do business, registering business, and becomes then an advisory body to government, but that the employers' organization is the factor or the part that is the one that really represents their employers or their business people. So knowing that, we are now in 2016, and still we have the unions have developed, and we are workers' organizations representatives, so the employees' representatives. We have established ourselves in Chamber of Labor Union, but still the businesses are not on the wavelength to say, well, they have an employers' organization. Holland has it also. The counterparts in Holland are looking forward for a candidate that is coming from St. Martin, that is coming from the employers' organization. Okay. And it has always been from the chamber.
We take a call to 54-221-70, 54-221-70. Mr. Jessurun, you want to say something just before the break?
Yes. You asked how come the initiative of the chamber to bring down the cost of living in St. Martin did not follow up, did not continue. And
Go ahead.
as we understood, what happened within the membership of the Chamber of Commerce, there were some of the merchants that said, hey, you cannot come to kill the others that are already established here on the island with a new big giant enterprise. If they can get established, if they want to establish, let them come, let them compete. But you cannot come with such an initiative.
Hold that thought, Mr. Jessurun. Hold that thought. Oral Gibbes live in caller. Hello.
Good night.
Good night.
You and your personality there. Well, first of all, I'd like to make a clarification. Okay. You said just now that the Chamber of Commerce was fighting for the people who lost things. They said that they're just accumulating information, but they were not defending the people. That's one. To Mr. Elshot and Mr. I forget his name now, Jessurun.
Excuse me, sir. One moment, please. With whom are you speaking with? What's your name, sir?
My name is Dennis Jeffrey.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. Go ahead now.
Okay. I was trying to change actually my name, and now you don't.
No, the reason why I ask you your name is I don't want to be in an argument with you, but your statement was incorrect also. That's the reason why I ask your name. Are you speaking on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Jeffrey?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead with your comment, sir.
All right. And since 2010, I'm not saying, I'm seeing a mouth moving, but not saying nothing. Okay?
That's because you're watching the delay.
Okay. Since 2010, a lot of laws that was until it was taken over. But I don't understand why the laws to protect consumers were not taken over, because since 1960, I remember in Curacao, had a lady by the name of Alcantara, and she used to take up the consumers' right for them. Okay? So I don't know why the government didn't just take over those laws also, because she has a legal basis to fight back on. All right? Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I have been a volunteer with the Fundación Pa Consumidor in Curacao in the 80s, where as a staff member we have been lobbying with government to get a law established. If there is now not a copied law, it means that still that process of getting a law in each of the territories of this side of the kingdom is being worked on. The good news of St. Martin is that the pressure of some parliamentarians brought this thing of come with the consumers law to protect the consumers, right, a little more to the forefront. And we applaud the parliamentarians that took the initiative to come with it. But from the other hand, what we see is that not everything can be addressed and solved with a law and with a legal process. So yes, we would like to see that there is more protection by the law and that there will be fines and sanctions for those that is violating the law. But on the other side, we have to get our act together by informing ourselves and by mobilizing the force that we have. If we don't want a certain quality of product, we can stop it. We can address it, we can stop to buy it, and we can demand that we can get better quality. The same thing happens with the prices. In Curacao, when we was doing the comparison of prices, we were not doing the comparison of prices that the government is doing, because the government is only comparing the prices of the articles that are being under this law of the maximum price. We were doing all and everywhere kind of different items and products. And what was happening is that when we was showing our research, we were saying which place was providing the same quality, the same brands, for a better price. People was going then to the place where they could get it for cheaper. So this is how, as a consumers coalition, we can come together, because it's the consumer is the eyes of all of us.
Mr. Jessurun, you know, it's not only appliances. Let me jump to food now.
Exactly.
Because, you know, I get very angry when I go to the supermarket and I see rotten items on the shelf, and expired goods also there.
Yes.
You ask yourself, well, where's the government? Where's the protection of the citizens?
And not that alone. For example, fruits and vegetables.
Especially.
It looks very good on the outside, but by the time you reach home and you open the package and you realize it is on the bottom part, rotten, etc., etc., and that is where they are very much expensive products. They are not protected. So there is where we as Consumers Coalition would also like the government to provide a better range of protection from, you know, to amplify, to make the basket, the living basket, a little bigger, different to rice, flour, sugar, and certain name brands and milk, to also expand that basket so that we can also have the consumers having a variety of things that are protected under the law, and therefore they can also have a better, how you would say, grip on certain things when they have to make their complaints.
When I said that every consumer is our eye, ear, and mouthpiece, as soon as you see something which is not right, you report it, and then we make it known for the others also to know. What will happen when you know that this is not right? That more people get educated, more people get aware, and you won't buy something which is not right.
Mr. Jessurun, let's hold it there a minute, please. I like the word you used there. More people get educated.
Yes.
There was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Engel from Curacao. He was the head of the Economic Affairs Department in St. Martin back in the 80s. I don't know if you know him from Curacao. What a fine gentleman. You know, I just started off in television, and I could stop by his office and sit down and speak with him those days I had more time. And you know what? He'll come in the show, not the recorded show, speaking of everything, and he'll give information. He'll speak. Today, I can't get those people. 2016, 33 years later, there's less information than in 1984, 85. Come on. So what? What are we doing?
So let us applaud the initiative that we have taken to actually unite ourselves, one, and get the funding so that we can get, just as the ombudsman, to address the issues that government is not doing right, that we can address the issues that the private sector is not doing right. Because at the end of the day, we pay. And it is one way that we have. We can dialogue, we can show you that this is not right, this is about the standard that you have to maintain, please do this. If you don't do, then we go blow out. And that was the effective way that we addressed the issues in Curacao in the 80s. The gentleman just called in about what happened with Fundación para Consumidor. That was how we did it. And this is the power that we have as consumers, organization, when we unite, when we come together. When you as consumer, you are the eye, you are the ears of all of us. Come out, speak, bring your complaint, bring what you saw, and we can address it. And this is how we can help to protect ourselves. Government should do it, but as long as government doesn't do it, we have to stand up for ourselves.
I would like to add, just for clarification for your caller also, that when the Consumers Foundation, the Windward Islands Consumers Foundation was established, we also had the same lady. Her name is Ana Alcantara. Mrs. Ana Alcantara came to St. Martin. She conducted workshops, and she also gave us guidance to a number of areas that we should, how we would say, as unions, that we should really be involved in. And the person that was president then also went to Curacao for trainings, etc. So basically, we have been in contact also via the Windward Islands Chamber of Labor Unions. When we founded that foundation, we have been in contact with the one in Curacao and had close working cooperation with them. So that is for the caller that he would know.
I think a good thing to add here is why we call ourselves a coalition. Just as in Parliament, some people, parliamentarians elected by the people, decide we form a coalition to get a program done. This is what we now want to do, a coalition. And everybody that wants to join is welcome. They can become a participant in this movement so that we can be that voice and that protection for each and every one of us.
You know, in the last 2 weeks since the office is open on Back Street, how many complaints have you all received?
Well, it is a startup. We have been getting some 10 complaints written in writing from people visiting, but also from people calling.
Per day?
No, not per day.
Oh.
It's just starting up.
Okay.
On Facebook, we have seen certain complaints coming up, and we have started to address them. What we see is this. We have to start promoting that we can stand up for our rights. So not only complain among ourselves, but come and address it so that we can bring it a step further. So by starting it up now, and by you inviting us also based on our press release, so that we can provide more information, more people will know about this initiative, and we can make it happen. Is we have to unite to say what is not right. And not only to say what is right, we can address how can we mobilize to stop abuse here in St. Martin. If we all, that is the experience that we had in Curacao and that we have elsewhere in the world. Consumers, when they get the information that something is not right, they get an announcement, they get the information, and then everybody knows this is not what I'm going to buy. So for us to get quality, we think that the Chamber of Commerce, that the associations that protect the business owners here, they all can do a good work for St. Martin by listening to what we as consumers want and by providing us with the quality and the services that we want. I give you another example.
At an affordable price also, in addition to that, you know.
Just this. You know that the cost of living here in St. Martin is being brought up because of the interest rates that the banks is offering to the business community and to each and every one of us here in this island. And then you see how much money they make. And the question is, have a heart. Don't they have a heart? We think that, yes, you can be in business, do business. But if we can get cheaper loans for the people to pay, if we can get for the businesses to get better pricing, the container fee went up. Why? Because of certain ways of thinking in our society that we can address.
But Mr. Jessurun, you know, I was telling someone just recently that when I built my first home, the interest rate was 13, 14%. Today now, interest rate, the mortgage you can get for 7, 8%. So it went down.
It went down. But then still, how affordable it is for you to get a consumer product, a consumer item. Look, for instance, at how they price the cars and how they want you to have a car.
But when you build your home, a bag of cement in St. Martin probably wasn't even $2
and we didn't
at
have,
that time.
And we didn't have the turnover tax to carry up the cost.
Yeah,
Another
a
15,
bag of
20%.
cement was like $2 something, and today, what's the price of a bag of cement?
But you know,
like 3 to 4 times the price.
But you know what, Ms. Elshot, and this is where I know you all are going to disagree with me. Let me tell you what,
yeah.
I've been very, very unhappy with the unions in terms of the unions on this island not taking a position against the turnover tax. That is the culprit here. It has carried up the cost of living on this island by 10, 15 to 20%. It has created more unemployment on this island, and all it has done is pull money out of the economy, put it in the government coffers to waste, and your members have less purchasing power, and that's why if you go to build a home today, the contractor is going to add on. He's going to add on 15 to 20% just because of the turnover tax. And I don't understand why is it that the unions, it's been so quiet for the past, since 1996 to now, 20 years? I can't understand it. Maybe you can tell me why.
Well, I can't really go and tell you why, but I know that when the turnover tax was implemented and St. Martin, let's say within the Netherlands, Antilles, and St. Martin brought in 3 months' time, the amount that Curaçao was saying that they needed to supply over a year, then I knew it was one big fight to get and to negotiate that the difference of that turnover tax be returned to St. Martin. So the focus would be put into the development of in St. Martin, so that we would no longer have to say, let's say, if you was expecting 3 guilders for the whole year, and St. Martin produced 10 guilders, then 7 should be returned, so to speak.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is this, and I always said this is one of the biggest lies to the people of St. Martin, the turnover tax, because at the time, I was here, and I was an advocate for it. I was telling the people, along with Mr. Frank Ming and other people, go ahead, we need it. The government said it's going to be temporary.
That is the point I was just going to say.
Temporary after 20 years,
that's not
I call it a
anymore.
big lie.
Yes.
And it's hurting this
That is
island.
the part that is hurtful, that it was intended for as a temporary measure, and now it is now being used as a budgetary
regular
supplement,
tax.
a regular tax. That is the what you call it? How you say it? That is the part that is really disappointing. The disappointing factor.
The austerity measures are over, and just today I saw Aruba at 4 billion guilders debt, and I said to myself, I hope we don't ever get there, you know. And the reason I'm saying this is because it's election time now, and the politicians and everyone will convince the people to vote for them. But I think a lot of people have the trust in you guys, because they need you to defend them after September 26th, because the politicians only going to defend you up until September 26th when they get in office. They forget about you. But you guys, you're the soldiers on the ground. You got to be out there all the time for the people.
We are aware of our
role that we have to play. Yeah.
Actually, to defend the poor and the needy should be the role of everybody. Because we all here in this society proclaim that we are people that have a Christian belief. And so you have to love your neighbor as yourself. Now, this is not being applied. Throughout the kingdom, we see that it is not being respected. But it is a fact that we have to stand up for the poor and the needy. We have to speak out on behalf of them.
The St. Martin Consumer Coalition, so now people can contact you all. You have an office on Back Street. You have 2 volunteer workers there.
Yes.
And what about if I'm at home watching this program and I want to be a volunteer? Is it possible?
Yes. Anyone that wants to volunteer is welcome. We will sit with you, we will explain you what it is, and we will provide you with the complaint forms so that people that call you or people that you hear, you can write up their complaints so that we can do follow-up on it.
Okay. And Ms. Elshot?
Well, as I would like to say, as unions, you would blame us for for being quiet, for example, on the turnover tax. But with all fairness, we had a lot to deal with for our members, new salary scale structure, the whole part of the cost of living adjustment, and all those different factors is also things that take a lot of energy and time from you. And in the meantime, we have had to put up fights, for example, with the austerity measures and to get back some of our benefits that were frozen or taken away from us. And as you was indicating in Aruba, if St. Martin do not pull up their socks, we're going to go in the same direction, because one of the things as unions we will be coming out very harsh against is the fact that when this the continued pay of salaries for members of parliament when the coalition change, you have to pay them some amount of years, although they're not in there. If you can have policies for civil servants and teachers that would say no work, no pay, then how would it be possible that you can have a law that every time when the government fall and a member of parliament is then displaced, that you have to pay them for 2 years even though they are not working? That is not, and as a consumer coalition, this is one of the areas we will be also tackling, because if you have no work, no pay, and at certain times, even if our civil servants or teachers, our members are sick, they want to take away the pay because they have not checked their system and saw the report that this person is sick, from the doctor, and then they cut people's salary. Once you are sick over a certain amount of period of time, they reduce it with 10% and then 20%, giving the person then a less income, then impossible that we can continue to maintain that. So if they are looking at electoral reforms, one of the urgent reforms should be that, and then the next reform should be the amount of rent that is being paid, this high skyrocketed amount of rent. I can't imagine a building per month, $99,000.
I'm going to tell people, vote for me. I'll make sure everything go down.
Yeah, vote for me, everything go down. But we are not on a political party, and that is why it is very important that we have these type of organizations so that we can be the tigers there with the toots in the area of defending the workers.
Right. Anyway, I want to thank both of you, Jessurun, Ms. Elshot, and the work you all are doing. I want you all to take on the turnover tax now. Put pressure that one, because that'll bring down cost of living, believe me.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's it. I'll see you next time. Good night. Take care. Bye.